Hi, I'm Aditya, and this is a demo of a project I made called Panopticon. In a nutshell, it lets you see what the entire world is talking about in real time and in their own words. So let's just dive right in. This is the user interface. On the left is a globe showing you a heat map of article and event density across the world, grouped by country. On the right are the articles themselves. Right now, we don't have any filters or any search conditions, so this is showing the whole data set. You can also deep dive into any single article. So let's say this one looks interesting. I'm just going to look more into it. I don't speak Italian, so I'm just going to translate this one. Oh, cool. Pretty interesting. So you can also go to the original source. Let's just head back. And as you can see, we can look at the actors involved. We can look at the place the event is happening, all sorts of events, and impact analysis done on it. There's also a huge range of filters for you to really dive deep into any topic you want. So, for example, let's say I will look at military actions in the South China Sea. Turn the threshold a bit. This will just take a second. So it's going to do a custom semantic search with a read anchor across all of the articles in our dataset, which right now comprise around 150,000 events from the month of May 2025. And as you can see, we've got around 203 articles across countries. We can take a look. Unsurprisingly, China has the most articles regarding this. And we'll go to Japan, we'll go to America. And you can also dive deeper into the articles here, or again, just like take a look. More importantly, if you want to look at very specific keywords across the global news coverage, let's say I want to look at a coverage of President Zelensky in Greek that is negative in tone. So I'm just going to filter accordingly and just head search. And as you can see, we've got like 6 articles. It's talking about Zelensky in either Russia or America. Let's just take a look at what this means. Oh, sure enough, that's a fairly negative article talking about President Zelensky. So that covers the UI. I feel like the more tricky and the more fun part really is the backend. So let me just explain the system architecture that powers this UI. So this is what's happening. This is all of the magic that's happening in the background. The most important part again is this distributed crawler network. We have a bunch of global news sources. We have a list that we maintain. And this is around, I think, thousands at this point. It covers more than 240 regions, even nation states that are unrecognized by the UN, military zones, everything. So we try to cover every single language and every single country. The distributed crawler network itself is part Rust and part Node.js. So it consists of a bunch of workers and a bunch of scraping and anti-bot measures to make sure we can actually scrape the data. All of which is supposed to be public, so there's no real legal problem there. So once they're scraped and sanitized, they're put through this global gloom filter to ensure uniqueness. We don't do that at just the URL level because oftentimes articles change over time. And even that is a valuable data point. Once that's put in a queue, our enrichment pipeline can take hold of it. We have all sorts of classifications, feature extractions, impact scores we get from the data as well as the actual titles. And the embeddings that you see are not in the titles, but just on the content. And we don't translate to English because any sort of translation is like a lossy encoding. And what I found while researching for this project, while doing some experiments, was that the cultural context in a multilingual encoder gave you better results cross-language than translating everything to English. Also, it's a lot more cost-effective. And this embedding service that we have uses the Tensorflow's universal sentence encoder. Once we get those embeddings, right now we're only using them for semantic search. You could just as easily make a recommendation system out of this. We can use them as the base for an AI agent to do all of this research for us. And there's a lot more potential to this project. This is just the start. This also took a lot of first principles thinking because the data itself is fairly complex. So I've tried to mess with it as little as possible. So in all of these objects, the actual source and the actual document data is still there. We just enrich it. And later on, if we use LLMs, it can be even better. but in the interest of latency and cost, I've decided not to do that. The Explorer UI is what you saw just now. The front end is in SvelteKit. The back end is a Rust Axum server, which handles the querying of the data lakehouse using Data Fusion. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So the whole idea, like the whole inspiration for this project was that, like, nowadays we're just so overwhelmed by all of the news sources, and you can't possibly keep track of what you want to think about. So this is just an attempt for maybe researchers, investigators, or even just your average Joe to figure out what's happening in the world around them. Thanks for watching.